Costco loses money on almost everything you put in your cart. The $4.99 rotisserie chicken, a loss on purpose. The $1.50 hot dog, the cheap gas out front, they barely break even. So how is a company that bleeds money on its most famous products worth nearly $500 billion? Because you are not really shopping at a store, the real profit is coming from somewhere you cannot see. By the end, you will know exactly where and why Costco would rather you never thought about it. Costco is not a store, it is a membership company. Start with the number that breaks most people's brains. In its 2025 fiscal year, Costco moved more than $269 billion in merchandise, an ocean of televisions, rotisserie chickens, and 48 packs of toilet paper. And on all of it, the company keeps almost nothing. Costco's gross margin sits around 11%, less than half of what a normal retailer takes. After paying its workers and running its warehouses, the profit on the actual products is razor thin, somewhere near 2 to 3 cents on the dollar. Now look at the quiet number. That same year, membership fees brought in $5.3 billion, and that money has almost no cost attached to it. It is nearly pure profit. Here is the reveal that reframes everything. That single stream of fees is responsible for more than half of Costco's entire operating profit. Read that again. The store full of products you came for runs close to break even. The plastic card in your wallet is the actual business. Costco is not a retailer that happens to sell memberships. It is a membership company that happens to run stores. Everything else you are about to hear exists to protect that one truth. Why they lose money on the chicken on purpose. You have seen the famous $4.99 rotisserie chicken in the back of every warehouse. What you may not know is that Costco loses money on it deliberately year after year. The price has been frozen for over a decade, even as the cost of poultry climbed. When suppliers pushed prices up, Costco did something almost no retailer would dare. They built their own chicken operation in Nebraska, a plant reportedly costing hundreds of millions of dollars just to keep that one number from moving. Why would any sane company spend that to protect a product it loses money on? Because the chicken was never supposed to be profitable. It is bait. The industry term is loss leader, an item sold at a loss to pull you through the door. And it gets better because they put that chicken at the very back of the building. To reach it, you walk past the electronics, the seasonal aisle, the giant inflatable thing you did not know you wanted. The chicken loses $1. The trip it triggers makes them far more. The hot dog and soda combo, still $1.50, runs the exact same play. That is not nostalgia. It is the cheapest customer retention program ever invented. The layout is a trap, and you fall for it every time. Look down at the floor and up at the ceiling because the building itself is working against your wallet. Costco warehouses are built on what retail insiders call a racetrack layout. One enormous loop that forces you past nearly everything before you reach what you actually came for. The essentials, the milk, the eggs, the pharmacy are pushed to the farthest corners on purpose. The high-margin temptations, the electronics, and the seasonal displays sit right at the entrance where your wallet is still full and your willpower is still fresh. And notice what is missing. There are no aisle signs. A normal grocery store practically hands you a map. Costco wants you a little lost, wandering, discovering. The result is measurable. The average Costco trip runs around 40 minutes, roughly double a normal grocery run, and the longer and more disoriented a shopper is, the more they spend. The bare concrete floors and the products stacked on wooden pallets are not laziness. They send a signal straight to your brain. This place is cheap. Do not overthink it. You're not wandering a warehouse. You are walking a track someone designed to slow you down. The free sample is not a gift. It is a transaction. Here is where it gets almost uncomfortable. That friendly person handing you a tiny cup of teriyaki chicken is not being generous. They are running one of the most reliable tactics in all of retail. The principle is called reciprocity. When a stranger hands you something for free, your brain quietly logs a small debt. And the fastest way your mind clears that debt is by dropping the full-size package into your cart, even if you walked up with no intention of buying it. And it goes deeper than the cup in your hand. The smell is part of it. Warm bread and sizzling meat drifting through the aisles to wake up an appetite, because a hungry shopper is a profitable shopper. The people running those stations track exactly how many samples turn into sales. You think you are getting a free snack. You are actually the most willing participant in a live marketing experiment, and you are paying full price for the conclusion. The Kirkland secret hiding behind a plain label. You have walked past Kirkland Signature 1,000 times and assumed it was just the cheap, generic option. That assumption is exactly what they want. Kirkland is not a bargain bin after afterthought. It is one of the most valuable private label brands on the planet, and in many cases, the products inside that plain label are made in the very same facilities as the national brands sitting right beside them, sometimes on the same production lines. The batteries, the coffee, the olive oil, frequently the same source, just a different wrapper and a lower price. Costco caps the markup on Kirkland tighter than on branded goods, and it guards these supplier relationships fiercely. Manufacturers sign strict confidentiality agreements because the moment you realize the premium brand and the cheap brand came from the same plant, the spell breaks. But here is the real strategy. Kirkland is not just saving you money, it is a switching cost. The more you trust that label, the more reasons you have to keep renewing the card that is the only way to get it. The membership math, designed to feel like a gift. Now we arrive at the engine room, the membership itself. There are two tiers. The basic Gold Star runs $65 a year. The executive runs $130 and it dangles a 2% reward on your purchases back at you. On the surface, it looks like a coupon. Underneath, it is a behavioral trap in the best sense. One that works because both sides actually win. To break even on that extra $65 through the 2% reward, you need to spend around $3,250 a year. So the moment you upgrade, a quiet voice starts pushing every borderline purchase toward Costco, because now spending there feels like earning. Here is the genius of it. Executive members are only about 48% of the membership base, but they generate roughly 74% of the sales. Costco built a tier that makes its most valuable customers feel rewarded for spending more, and they spend more because they feel rewarded. The fee is not the cost of shopping. It is the hook that quietly changes how you shop. The return policy is a loyalty weapon. Costco's return policy sounds insane the first time you hear it. Almost no time limit, no receipt required because every purchase is tied to your membership and they can pull up your history at the desk. People have returned couches they sat on for years, half-eaten food they did not like, even a real Christmas tree in January. Electronics get a tighter 90-day window, but for most of the store, the door swings open whenever you want to walk back through it. So why would a company built on thin margins invite that kind of abuse? Because the loyalty it buys is worth more than the returns cost. When you know you can bring anything back, the fear leaves the purchase. You stop hesitating. You buy the bigger television, the unfamiliar Kirkland product, the thing you are not sure about, because the risk is on Costco, not on you. And do not mistake the kindness for blindness. Costco tracks every return, and members who treat the policy like a free rental service have quietly had their memberships revoked. The trust is real, but it is measured and it is pointed straight at the one number that matters: your willingness to renew. Paying workers more is a profit strategy in disguise. Here is a move that looks like charity until you see the spreadsheet behind it. Costco pays its people far above the retail norm, with top-of-scale clerks reaching nearly $32 an hour in 2026, plus health coverage and bonuses most retail jobs never touch. On the surface, that is just a company being decent. Underneath, it is one of the sharpest financial decisions Costco makes. Look at what it buys them. Among employees who make it past their first year, turnover runs near 8%, while much of the retail industry burns through 60 to 70% of its staff every year. Replacing and retraining workers is brutally expensive, so that loyalty quietly saves a fortune. And each Costco worker in the United States generates well over $800,000 in sales a year, more than double the industry average. A happier, longer tenured employee who knows the warehouse cold, moves more product, and keeps members coming back. Costco did not raise wages to be liked. They did it because a loyal employee, just like a loyal member, is the cheapest growth they can buy. An empire built entirely on loss leaders. Drive up to a Costco gas station and you will find a price well below the corner station and a line wrapped around the building to match. Costco makes almost nothing on that fuel. Like the chicken, it is sold near cost on purpose because it pulls members back to the property again and again, and once you are already there, filling the tank, the odds you wander inside for just a few things climb dramatically. Now, widen the lens because the gas station is only one piece. The tire center with its free lifetime rotations, the optical department and the cheap eye exams, the pharmacy with its capped markups, the travel agency, the hearing aids at a fraction of the specialty clinics. None of these exist to be big profit centers on their own. They exist to make the membership feel bottomless, to give you 5 more reasons the card pays for itself. yourself so that when renewal time comes, walking away feels like leaving money on the table. Every one of them is another lost leader pointed at the same target: keep you a member. The number that quietly prints money. If you want the single number that explains why Wall Street treats Costco like a technology company, it is the renewal rate. Close to 90% of members worldwide renew every year. And in the United States and Canada, it runs over 92%. Stop and think about what that means. Every year, roughly 9 out of 10 people willingly hand over their fee again before they have bought a single thing. That is recurring revenue most subscription businesses would kill for, and it lands almost entirely as profit. This is why every other tactic exists. The loss leader chicken, the impossible hot dog price, the Kirkland quality, the generous returns, the cheap gas, the well-paid staff. None of it is charity. It is all in service of one feeling at renewal time, that walking away would be the dumb move. Costco even backs the executive tier with a guarantee. If your reward does not cover the upgrade, they refund the difference, removing the last reason to hesitate. They are not afraid of that promise. They have the data. They know that once you are in, the layout, the samples, the chicken, and the card in your wallet will keep you spending far past the break-even line. The whole machine, seen for what it is. So step back and look at the entire thing at once. The chicken loses money to pull you in. The layout slows you down, so you buy more once you're there. The samples manufacture a debt your brain rushes to repay. The Kirkland label quietly locks in your trust. The returns desk removes your fear. The well-paid workers move more product. The gas, the tires, the pharmacy, all of it makes the card feel bottomless. And the executive tier rewards your biggest spenders for spending even more. Every single piece exists to protect one number, the renewal rate, because that fee is where the actual profit lives. Costco is not cheap by accident, and it is not generous out of kindness. It is the most disciplined value machine in retail, one that figured out a truth most companies never grasp. If you stop trying to win every transaction and instead make people genuinely glad they belong, they will pay you on purpose year after year for the privilege of buying from you. That is the secret. The store was never the product. You, holding the card, are. So the next time you walk in for a $40 trip and leave having spent $200, you will know it was not weakness. It was design. If this changed the way you see the store you thought you knew, you will want to see what we break down next. Because Costco is far from the only company quietly running a business that has nothing to do with what it sells. Subscribe and stick around, because the next one might be sitting in your wallet right now. And tell me in the comments, now that you know the trick, does it change how you shop, or does the chicken still get you anyway?